2018, a strange event happened in Thailand. To attract the attention and support of 17 countries, including China, American, Japanese, British, the story begins when the 12 boys on the football team, with my coach, to explore the cave Time Long Sun Non, the fourth largest cave in Thailand. It's also known as the Mermaid Cave. They go into the cave and then they go silent until evening, when the rain is pouring down. Then the family realized something was wrong. Mermaid Cave, it's famous for its annual floods. As they scuttled to their destination, there are only 13 bicycles left. The cave's entrance was flooded. The children's names echoed in the night. But in response there was only terrifying silence. 1:00 a.m. Thai Navy Super Task Force to the scene, ready to start the rescue. Soon after, the governor received the news and rushed to direct. Fortunately, a foreigner has lived here for a long time, provided a map of the structure inside the cave. Even though the cave has a complex structure and narrow passage, but there's also a couple of big compartments that give us hope. It's very unlikely that the children will survive. Super fast team, preparation of manpower and equipment, starting the first expedition into the cave. They've been looking for traces of the children. Just fix the rope to the stalactites to support the next rescue effort. The members of the team are well equipped, but back out wounded. The situation in the cave is extremely dangerous. One member even shipped dead. And they've only come 100 meters. The total length of the cave is 10 kilometers. Before the difficulties pile up, beyond imagination, to witness the tragic scene of the rescue team, the boys' families fell into the abyss. The fire of hope in everyone's heart died out. To the second day, things get serious. Upgraded to an international event. The local government called for help from all over the world. That call, it has received the support of countless volunteers. One of them is an irrigation engineer. When passing by, he saw the volunteers using pumps to draw water from inside Russ Cave, even though it's using the largest pump available. But with my experience, then you know that this effort is nothing more than salt. He went to an old man in the village. Describe your identity and present your opinion. We want to solve the water problem in the cave. We have to find water in the mountains. The old man's guidance. They found countless death gates on the mountain, where the floodwaters are pouring into the cave. There's only one way to redirect the water from the mountain to the foot of the mountain. You can control the water level in the cave. But the problem with that is that if you do that, surely the rice fields will be flooded. Destroy the entire harvest. The farmer's year's work will melt into a cloud of smoke. Whatever you choose, it hurts. When you know this, the governor has decided, go directly to the farmers. I want to find a hope for the kids. We will lose our crops SAO, and that's going to save the kids. To be honest, I can't guarantee anything, but it'll give you a chance to survive. The farmers just talk to each other for a moment and quickly make decisions about them. I agree, because the fifth day goes by for the kids. The number of rescuers from around the world, up to 1,000 people. Among them are 2 cave diving experts from the British Cave Rescue Society. That's Rick Denton and John Volathan. I just set foot where I can't rest. They immediately dressed up and rushed to the scene. The appearance of these 2 men, that changed the course of the entire rescue operation. They reached the 3rd chamber, 800 meters from the cave entrance. Here, people are urgently pumping water out. But the water level keeps rising. The situation is extremely urgent. After going a few feet deeper into the cave, a pump that breaks down due to overloading. The engineers are trying to fix it. This is also the last point that they can come up to breathe. Rich and John went down from here into the water. The water in the cave is almost invisible. The danger in the water is beyond their imagination. Everywhere is the sharp ice. It can be cut at any time. Even pose a serious risk of infection. The terrain is extremely narrow. If you get stuck in, they may have to pay with their lives. 2 people follow the conductor. Difficulty moving forward. Every meter forward requires a lot of energy. It took almost 4 hours. They finally got to the T-junction. 1.6 kilometer from the cave entrance. This is the first large compartment. It can avoid the flood. They called for a long time, but I can't see the kids. We have to keep looking for the next one. But they've just departed. The cliff was overrun by the floodwater. The violent current erupts. Rubble and strong water power. That immediately put them in a situation of 1,000 pounds. Hang the hair, fortunately. With Rich experience, Rich and John managed to escape. But they understand that the road ahead is even more dangerous. Can't act recklessly. 2 exhausted people decided to go back. The water's rising at breakneck speed. When they go back to the original dive site, this place is almost completely flooded. A pump repair engineer stuck on a rock. Can't move. Rich and John had to share a suit. Dive for him. Take him out first and come back for him. The rest. But cave diving, it's a very difficult challenge for ordinary people. Just went into the water. The gear engineer had an unusual behavior. The utmost fear, when confined to a tight space. The darkness made him lose his mind. He risked his life to escape. Rich wants to rise to the water. In the middle of the struggle, he even accidentally dropped Rich's auxiliary breathing tube. But, as he's coming up, he bangs his head against the cliff. Red blood streamed out across the water. Rich instant adjustment device, put the tube back in his mouth. And pull him to the shore with all his might. They've finally overcome this crisis. Rich and John report complicated situation underwater. Let him wake up. To prevent casualties, the governor decided, suspend all rescue operations. The governor warned you not to enter the cave on your own. Without his consent. Up until now, rescue team, there's still no news of the missing. Your family is starting to get discouraged. They just asked the government, bring your bodies back in one piece. Before that situation, Commissioner, the committee held an emergency meeting to discuss thoroughly the situation in the cave. Who will be in line, when to come in. And everyone thinks that we should wait until the rain stops, pumping all the water in the cave and counting. But Rich and John have a different opinion. Because every minute that goes by, the children are getting closer to the door of death. Are very experienced cave diving experts, 35 in the profession. Only they are capable of this task. They offered to launch rescue operations immediately. However, the governor decided to wait until the rain stopped, because no one can be responsible if foreign volunteers are killed during the rescue. 8th day of navigation. The water has made new progress. The first pipeline has been installed. The floodwaters began to be led down to the foot of the mountain. The water flowed like giant colonies of ants, slowly gnawing at the farmer's labor. Then came the 9th day. It's a strange event that no one can explain. Legend has it that 300 years ago, there's a beautiful princess in the kingdom of Trianghan fell in love with a boy who raised horses. Because of the difference in status, their love was forbidden by the king. Two lovers have fled to Triang Ra, Thailand, and living in a cave. When I heard that the king was very angry, Side 13 likes guests to chase lovers. Once out looking for food. Bad boy. The guests were discovered and killed. Or believe your lover died. The princess is in great pain. He pulled out the suicide vest. After death, her blood turned into a river. The body becomes a mountain. The cave where they used to be. It's this mysterious Luang Nang cave. In this event, 13 people are trapped. It is said to be the afterlife of 13 guests from the past. What is even more amazing is a lot of Thais dream about it. The same strange dream. They dream of a princess who died 300 years ago. The princess asked everyone to find a high priest. The Cuban bun came to see her. And she'll forgive the 13 boys. In a dream, the princess said that Cuba, Beaded Bun, is the next life of the horse-raising boy. But no one's ever heard of Cuba. Beaded Bun ever. A restaurant hostess posted a search for Cuba Beaded Bun on Facebook with fragile hope. Soon a lot of Thais came in. They said they had the same dream. LAN post transmitted at breakneck speed, and they actually found a monk called Cuba Beaded Bun. He even went to Thailand. What's even more magical is, he was a missionary in Myanmar. But a few days ago, he yourself dreamed that dream. And immediately set off for Thailand. When people find you, he came to the Thai border. According to the instructions in the dream, we are about to arrive at the scene of the crime. The next day Cuba Bun arrived. After the ceremony in front of the cave, he walked in alone. 2 hours later he walked out. No one knows what happened inside. He went out and told everyone that the divers are about to find the boys. They are all safe. I will see my family again in a day or two. Then he prayed for the princess. Right in front of the cave, then drive away, as soon as he's out of the torrential rain. In try-and stage, suddenly stopped. The sky is clear again. On the 10th day, the rescue operation was launched. Rich and John once again take the task down to the cave. It takes 4 hours to get to the T-junction. They attached a new rope to the old one. Then keep exploring. Not long after they arrived at Pota Beach, where it's thought to be most likely that the children will shelter. But it's a shame, there's still no trace of you. Right now, they both realize that 13 people could be dead. I'll look on the left. Let's find out if there's a body. 2 people separated, each one in one direction, trying to find the bodies of the bad guys. In the fastest time, 2 hours passed. They get to the 9th compartment, 2.5 kilometers from the cave entrance. Just came out of the water, a strong smell in the nose. Suddenly a flashlight flashed from the distance. Some skinny people. Inferno is slowly moving towards them. And then when you see those shadows, they both died in amazement. All 12 children and their coach are alive. All is safe and sound. For 2 professionals with 35 rescue experience, Rich and John, it's an unimaginable miracle. Except for the emaciated face due to lack of nutrition, keep everyone healthy. Turns out the whole time I was trapped. The coach taught the kids how to preserve their fitness. Constantly meditating to allay fear. You can only eat 1 piece a day. Instead of drinking cloudy rainwater, they're looking for groundwater to drink clean water. That's how they all survived until now. John tried to suppress his emotions. Use the camera to capture the entire scene in front of you. Now we have to go back to the cave. Give this good news to the rescue team immediately. After 6 hours they returned to the cave. But on the way back, after thinking about it, both of you calmed down. They told the temporary staff not to report it. The kids are alive. But now people have lost their minds. Because I'm so glad the old men found the kids. Soon enough, this news is transmitted throughout the rescue site. Like a storm in the evening the governor came. Thanks to Rich and John for their contribution. You two have heavy faces right now. Because getting these kids out, it's 100,000 times more difficult to find. See them differently. This is an impossible task. The governor said he'll send a super team. The most elite with the most modern equipment. Join the rescue. But this idea was quickly rejected by Rich, because the problem isn't the diver or the equipment. They once rescued a pump repair engineer. Stuck in line. Just a few hundred meters away. The fear of being trapped in a dark space. The narrow made the men grow. That swim lost its mind. Lake situation, now they're faced with immature children. To make them dive over 2,000 meters underwater. To get back out is ridiculous. It was hard to find the kids. Now I have to watch them die. This makes all the people involved in the rescue. It's all unacceptable. The super team decided to get supplies to the kids first. Rich and John didn't come. They know the road behind the T-junction is dangerous. should come to guide what to note. The most important thing is to save oxygen. We'll be there. We'll be with the kids today. Super 3 members leave after 7 hours, and at 1:30, they've taken supplies to the 9th compartment, where the children are safe. But through measurement, oxygen levels in the cave have dropped below 20%. The lives of children are in serious danger. Even worse is when they're about to go back. Then they found out. John and Rich's warning was absolutely correct. The oxygen reserves are almost exhausted in but people. Just enough for one person to come back. It's like adding fuel to the fire, where the oxygen in the cave is already scarce. At the same time, it also increased the number of people trapped from 13 to 15. On the 12th day, families are sitting on a fire. Hot as a burning fire. Look at the eyes full of hope. The governor had to make a promise. I can assure everyone that you will return safely. This word makes you, who should have retired. You have to take on a huge responsibility. Face the current situation. Vicky Knack up thinking finally figured out a way. But he was too crazy to say raw. Until John realized what was going on with his friend. What are you thinking? It's just a crazy idea. Say it out loud. Rick's crazy idea is better than dying. There's no other way now. We can find Harry and go to Dr. Harry Harris. I heard the name Harry. John immediately guessed Rich's intentions, and then it goes silent. Time to the 14th day. British Cave Rescue Society sent 2 more divers. They replaced John and Rich and went to 9, carrying a large amount of supplies to give more faith to those who are trapped. They also carry family letters. Not long after Harry, the person everyone was waiting for, finally showed up. Right now, Harry, still don't know that I will be the main character of the entire rescue operation. When Rich says, they need your special medical skills, Harry was stunned. I'm an anesthesiologist, that's right. Harry shook his head. Because doing so is against morality. The profession of an anesthesiologist. And anesthetize them and get the kids out of the cave. It's no different than killing them. Before this mythical plan, Harry's really hard to decide. But the truth is that this is the only way to save them. No matter what, they're hard to survive. 15th day. A SEAL member goes to give scuba gear to the kids. When swimming 1/3 of the pipe, his breath unfortunately got stuck in the rock slit, caused oxygen to leak severely. He did his best to save it. But in the end, he sacrificed this thing. That puts Harry in a precarious position. If the rescue doesn't end soon, it's not just children who will lose their lives. Maybe there will be more innocent people. But if we use anesthesia to save lives, kids, you'll have to spend more than 5 hours underwater. What this means is, they're going to have to be given continuous anesthesia all the way through, not to mention the risks of anesthesia. Even when the oxygen mask can ensure complete sealing. Saliva is secreted in the mouth. It can also cause them to suffocate. At any time, risk of infection by the needle. The weight that divers have to carry. Every single risk could turn a rescue operation into a disaster. Even if you are extremely lucky, they can only save 2 to 3 people. Harry is not enough. The courage to decide the life and death of 13 people. Just in a minute, Rich said. If we do nothing. The only thing that could have been recovered was 13 bodies. If they died during the rescue. At least we tried our best. The rescue team had a secret meeting at night. Anesthesia solution is the only way to get the trapped people out. The governor asked about the safety of this option. Harry looked awkward. I can't answer that question, because I've never tried to do this. But it's theoretically possible to do that. If you decide to do, we have to be mentally prepared for the casualties that may occur. The governor decided to take a risk. Report this plan to the minister. After the last discussion, they decided to do it secretly. Anesthesia isn't going to let any AI know. Even your parents. Everybody try your best. If 7 fails, I will take full responsibility. On the 16th day, the rescue operation began. Harry took out a needle. Give each diver one. Everyone practices stabbing Kim in. Then pull out the mineral water bottle. The goal is to control the force of the injection. Avoid broken needles. Harry carefully guides each diver. Points to note when injecting anesthetics. And that night the rescue operation officially began. They're going to take the 13 children trapped in the cave out. Divided into 3 phases. In the midst of the prayers of the people, the divers took turns getting into the water at the 5th bay. It's in the middle of the cave. Let's check the plan together for the last time. I'll be here when the first boy to cross this long dive. I'll swim to report to you. If this doesn't work, we must know immediately, before taking any more children out. But if it works, we keep going. They're goods and we're just carriers. In the waiting of the children, the divers turned to compartment 9. I heard someone came to pick me up. Then every child is cheering for joy, but did not expect. The rescue operation hasn't even started yet. Something went wrong. The coach picked out the 4 children with the lightest weight. The youngest boy is the boy who was chosen first. But the oxygen mask doesn't fit. With the boy's face, have to replace someone else. Another boy in a scuba suit. And swallow a pill down. Then the boy was tied up. Both hands and feet are tied with drawstring. The worried, bewildered boy came next to Harry. Harry gently reassured the boy. Then stab a needle in your thigh. We're here to get you out, okay? The drug quickly works. And the boy began to dream. Wait until the boy is completely unconscious. Harry carefully put an oxygen mask on his face. Ensure sealing. After confirming that breathing is normal, he fixed the boy's hands and feet. Then follow the lead and dive into the water. The first 2 kilometers underwater human transport officially started. Due to too much stress, Harry forgot about work, waiting for a signal from Rich in the observation area. I gave the second boy an injection. You injected him. But once the anesthesia starts, it can't be stopped. It's all just a way to go on. Fortunately, not long after, Rich out of the water. The first boy is safe. This way is effective. The first boy after leaving from the observation area, there are signs of recovery. The diver in charge immediately stopped, prepared to inject more anesthesia for the boy. But because it took so much energy, his hands trembled, causing the needle to fall into the water. Fortunately, he managed to find the needle and successfully injected the boy before the boy fully woke up. The second boy is now in John's charge. We also reached the observation point after injecting more anesthesia for the boy. Then another incident happened. It's not okay. It's not breathing. John hurriedly turned the boy over. Fortunately, the boy was breathing normally again. We're going to try again and find out that. He stopped breathing every time he was in the water. But breathe again when you're brought to the surface. After several tests, the boy's condition stabilized. It feels like you've just been on a roller coaster ride. I almost became the first 7. At the same time, the first boy was brought out of the cave safely. After 7.5 hours, the vital signs are normal. After 16 days under the escort of the rescue team, the boy was finally able to bathe himself under the sun again. To avoid confusing the family, the boy was secretly taken to the ambulance. It was then transferred to a helicopter and was taken to the hospital in front of thousands of people. Until late at night, the first 4 boys were brought out safely. Harry, who carries a heavy burden. I dare not leave the cave until the doctor notices all 4 boys are safe. He breathes a sigh of relief now. They're not just setting a precedent in rescue history. It's also a miracle. The mood is happy. Harry's worry right now is hard to put into words. Watch the helicopters flying overhead. People are beginning to feel the hope. But Rich and John didn't smile. Because they understand that they've now saved 4 lives. Then they're heroes. But if only one person died among the others, their reputation will be destroyed. They are even cursed by people. 18th day of navigation. The floodwaters on the mountain are still restless. Because the water flow is too large, the number of water pipes began to become urgent. The old man. Experienced people only ask one question: water pipe is not enough SAO. Then he stood up, cut the bamboos and split them in half. Thanks for your help. Finally, the water diversion work is also completed. As right. There's a low roar in the sky right now. The dark clouds are coming. The real rainy season is about to begin. Evening. The rescue team finally found the mask. Suitable for boys, but at the same time the damn rain came. No one can sleep. They dare not imagine how difficult the rescue will be tomorrow. On the 19th day, the torrential rain became more and more intense. The rice paddies have now turned into a sea of water. The difficulty of the rescue operation has increased, the highest ever. Rich claims that, if the next actions, you can't guarantee the safety of your own life. He's pulling out of the rescue operation. When you get into the cave, the water level has risen about 3 times higher than before. What this means is, they have to go a little further. At the same time, we have to deal with fast-flowing water. 7 often the level of danger is difficult to predict. Everyone understands the serious situation. Everyone looks at the Rich. The leader. Decide whether to continue down the cave or not. It's in your hand. It should be fine. We'd better act quickly. Come on, guys. This is the last rescue and the most dangerous. Tonight, they have to do everything they can to save the rest. To compartment 9, after many attempts, they found out the mask still couldn't fit the bottle. But there was no time to look for another mask. A diver had to repair the mask himself. The bottle was replaced again. The other 3 boys are on their way. The underwater situation is getting more complicated. The water is rushing in chaos. The vision is much more limited. A young diver named Chris, while pulling the boy around, accidentally dropped the wire. The strong current carried him farther and farther away. He eventually lost his way. Chris is trying to reach the bottom of the cave, find a suitable fulcrum to stop him. And the boy was swept away by the current. Fortunately, he managed to find a power line. Follow the wires and he gets to the real number 4. Fortunately, the boy is fine, but the time between the anesthetic injections was completely disturbed. To keep the boy safe, Chris had a way of staying there, waiting for help on the other side. The bottle's mask was finally repaired. The boy hurriedly put on his diving suit and swallowed the pill down. After the last injection of anesthesia, the bottle is also on the way. Day 18 Rick, the second is on the way. I found Chris stopping at compartment 4. Chris told him to stay where he was and protect the boy. Wait for Harry to check if he's safe. Then do it according to Harry's plan. On the other side, all the other divers take turns in the water. Until now, everyone in compartment 9 has been evacuated. It wasn't long before Chris finally waited for Harry. Even though the spirit is almost broken, but he persisted in protecting the boy next door. After inspection, Harry confirmed the boy had no serious problems. But he also consciously recognized fear and the self-blame in Chris's heart. Do you need me to take over the rest of the way? There's no need for me to do it. Let's have you bend in front. Okay, Rich said everything. Just let me arrange it. I think you've done the hardest part. The rest is short. Why don't you give it to me? I can be proud too. I was one of the rescuers, Rick said. What's best for the boy? I really think that's the best way. With the art of words, Harry calmed the guilt in Chris's heart. At the same time, offer the best solution, the rest of the way though. But in the end, they all returned safely. The hangtime rescue operation, the new sun has been successful. The 13 people who were trapped were miraculously saved. This moment, the joy of saving people's lives and winning over nature, that made the people involved in the rescue emotional. They hugged each other and cried tears. More than 5,000 volunteers from different countries. Together, we completed an impossible task. In the course of the rescue, they've forgotten their national colors, the difference in culture. Let's work together to write a glorious history. Cannot fade in the history of rescue. Everyone is immersed in the joy of winning. Only Harry after one. A brief glimpse of joy, quietly sitting in a corner. You just got a phone call. Your father has passed away. Now, he never had a chance to see his father again. On the 19th day, the rescue equipment was dismantled. Every volunteer returned to the country. My family. Back to being a normal person, quietly living your own life. All the children were treated in time. Health indicators are back to normal. Just need a short break. You will be reunited with your family, back to normal life. In this operation, 2 SEAL members were killed. One is Shaman Conan. He was killed by drowning in the movie. The rest, blood infection during the rescue. And not through, after the campaign is over. The cave is completely flooded. For 8 months. Farmers who have lost their crops. They are also adequately compensated by the government. Coach and Bub Boy stateless, granted citizenship by the Thai government. The people involved in the rescue, from 17 countries around the world, with a total of more than 5,000 people. The success of the rescue operation. This house may not be a miracle. It's the great human survival instinct. In the flow of history, it's because of this instinct that new humans can constantly rebuild. Progress after countless difficulties, natural disasters over the past 6 million years, and that instinct. It's the respect and appreciation of life. Maybe it's hard for us to sacrifice ourselves. Like the people in the movies. When you meet people who dare to stand up for the lives and rights of others. Please don't regret praise and applause. Don't let that instinct gradually disappearing in indifference and ridicule. The value of a film lies in its reputation. The value of a movie review lies in the feeling. Today's story ends here. Thank you for watching the movie. How do you see this movie? Please comment below.